Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Allah, and we are truly blessed today. Okay, this is a first step up first. The last time y'all saw me, I was on the other side of the camera with our sister on her platform. You understand? So Allah saw fit to have us be together on the opposite side today. You understand? I know y'all heard our sister on Do Knowledge Radio a few times already. It's the first time y'all get a chance to see us together in all this magnificence. You understand what I'm saying? So all praise due to Allah for that. So let's welcome the goddess of black birth. You understand? That's that new John right there. You understand? The goddess of black birth is here to share with us some jewels, some gems, some much needed tips, some love and affection today. So we are thankful to have her in our presence. Philly's own, that's why I said John, you understand? That Philly John is in the building today. Um,
Right.
let's welcome her to the platform.
Mhm.
Aishia
You
the
know it.
Midwife
Thank you.
in the building.
Thank you.
Salam
Thank
alaikum.
you. Wow, wow. That was such an awesome welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for
Everybody
letting
didn't
me
get this. You know what I'm saying? I had to
have my
pull out
voice.
some extra stops today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Absolutely.
thankful. Yeah. How you
Thank you.
feeling? Kayfa Halik. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad. I'm feeling good. Feeling great. Feeling blessed. Feeling humbled. I'm here.
Word. And you so many things to so many people. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't get into the entrepreneurialism aspect, the boss mentality, the motivated mentality, the jam sessions, like everything all together. It's so many dimensions and layers to you. It's remarkable. You know what I mean? So um, this series is dedicated to our sisters, Black Goddess Empowerment. So I'm glad that we have you here to give your expert opinion about what we need to know. You know, you're expert in the field, 10 children to prove it. You understand? And you're bringing children into the realm, the baby catcher. You understand what I'm saying? So, what is it
Yeah.
that our sisters um, can glean from your experience? What's some of the things you wish somebody would have told you when you was young, um, that you didn't have to figure out on your own, necessarily, and some things that some wisdom you got from some elders along the way, that you can share with us.
Ooh, that's a good one. The first thing that I would share that a few of my elders told me, and I got this information so much later in my life, but it still is applicable, is focus on what you want and not what you don't want. Too often in life, actually, almost all the time, in most of our lives, we're raised focusing on so much of the negative, focusing on all the things that we don't want to happen, that we get distracted and we get caught up by that stuff, you know? So it could be something as small as, oh, I sure hope my car runs well this morning on the way to work. But you focus on what you didn't want to happen instead of focusing on my car is going to go run great this morning. I'm going to work and have a great day. So reversing their thinking, reversing the mentality, building yourself up or gaming yourself up. This is a necessary concept in order to push forward in that positive spirit and that positive energy. And I wish I had somebody tell me that from a teenager going all through into my 20s and, in my 30s now. Because, well, I have had it in my 30s, but my 20s and in my teens, if I could have had that, I probably would have been advanced like at least a good decade in life. What you think is what you act upon. Thoughts are things, you know. So that's like my biggest advice to folks listening, ladies listening. When we become moms, we have a lot of women, especially if you're 80 babies like me. And stop me anytime, brother, if I'm going on too much on one particular topic. But a lot of the 80s babies, we had teen pregnancy when I was younger, for 14, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, sometimes even 11 and 12. young girls were having babies, and some of the young ladies were dropping out of school because of that. Some of them were just missing so much school they ended up failing. Some of them had to, leave mom and auntie and grandma the babies so that they could do well in school. All of these different things occurred, and for a lot of the young girls in that era, it hindered them from becoming something great because they didn't know, or they didn't have a motivation or the support behind them that told them that they could be whatever they wanted, even though they had a child at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You know, I had my daughter, I was 15, and I turned 16 right after I had her. And I was just a determined type of teenager. So my whole thing was, oh, I'm going to finish school. Oh, I'm going to do what I want to do in life. So I might just be a different kind of person, a little rebellious about everything, but about the good stuff. You know what I mean? You're not going to tell me I can't do it because I got a kid. And that's how I felt when I was a teenager. So nobody's going to tell me that I needed my mom to take care of my baby, I needed my grandma or the neighborhood. I had a little job working at McDonald's, getting paid a couple dollars, and I did so much on my own that my parents insisted upon helping me. My mother and my grandmother insisted upon helping me because I showed that I was about my business. And now that I've been like that my whole life, some stuff is God given. That's from God. I didn't learn that. You know what I mean? But our sisters got to focus. You know what I mean? And even here we are now at this particular point in our lives. Some of us have learned a whole lot of life lessons. We've been dealt a whole lot of different types of cards, opened a whole lot of wrong doors, so to speak. And a lot of our ladies are feeling like, how am I going to get past this hump? How can I get through these obstacles? How can I get over these hurdles? Especially when you have children. I speak on that a lot because I am a midwife and because I am a mother of 10 children. And I understand how it feels to have a lot of children. I understand how it feels to be pregnant and all these other things and still goals, dreams that you want to accomplish, but you feel like you're not sure because motherhood comes first. How am I going to do both? And I'm just saying that it's possible if everybody understands it's possible. Not even just understand, but you got to know it's possible. You can't even just believe it's possible. You got to know. Knowing is stronger than believing, but people don't understand that. They think belief is sufficient, but it's not. You got to know. Knowing brings a different type of confidence. Knowing brings a different kind of swag. You know what I mean? So I need the ladies out there just get on that knowing type of fit, know that okay, you have some children, okay, you're pregnant, okay, maybe they're getting over different hurdles with finishing school or not finishing school, whatever job they wanted they didn't get or whatever, maybe relationships and marriages didn't work. That becomes a huge obstacle in many women's lives. Whatever it is, you absolutely through that. There's no reason why you can't. You just gotta know it, you gotta see it. That takes vision. It takes a courage to be
Bear with us for 1 second. We lost our sister right in the middle of them jewels she was breaking down. So give us a second and see what's going on. And I hope we got it back in the building. bear with us 1 second, okay? Definitely got a busy schedule this weekend. A lot of things are coming up. So tomorrow, real quick, we got our sister Sarah coming on 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Will be here on Blue Mouse Radio for this Black Goddess Empowerment Series. And that's Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see what else we got. We got Sister Ray in the building, 7:30, and we got my queen, Aishia Muhammad. Your Missy will be here at 6:30, so it's going down tomorrow. Okay. So this Black Goddess series is continuing. It's continuing. Definitely got a lot going on. We got Queen Arkia, she will be in the building tomorrow as well. So we got a lot going on. Just did an interview with Lord Jamar. Make sure y'all go check that out. That's gonna be crazy as well. And we will have Sada X in the building tomorrow as well. So let's see. All right. She's back with us.
Okay, am I clear?
What you are?
Sorry about that. I have my house is made of steel.
Mm.
So I'm not sure where I left off, but you can refresh that memory.
You were before you went out. You were discussing, you know, some of the challenges associated with our sisters, and and you being able to identify with them, with pregnancies, with teen motherhood, and everything else. So, like that process, how would you, well, I guess I'm saying, like, how do you approach that kind of situation uh, with teen motherhood? Is it different with teens and then with sisters later on, that have reached adulthood, and even like, older sisters who might be in their 40s and their 50s, how do you kind of approach, each situation with each of the sisters in those cases?
So the interesting part, first, can you hear me clear? Am I cutting in and out? I'm clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing is, I think that teen mothers actually adjust easier. I think they adjust and they overcome obstacles a little easier because they're younger and there's a little bit less fear of life, of different things happening. When we're younger, we're fearless. This is why, young kids do all kinds of crazy things. You like, oh my God, if I did that, I would have died. You know what I mean? They get on crazy roller coasters to, trying out crazy drugs, all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? All kinds of things teenagers do because of the lack of fear. The older we get, the more we understand the world and the more fear consumes us. The more we're told you can't, you shouldn't, don't do it, no, 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 no. The more that we hear all those type of negative phrases, the more we are consumed out of fear, because all that stuff instills fear. So I do believe that younger women get over a lot of the hurdles as young mothers faster than women who become mothers in their 30s and 40s or even in their 50s. My grandmom used to always say, having babies are for young women. She said, having babies is for young women, not middle-aged women and not old women. And when I was younger, I didn't know what she meant by that, but I will be 39 next Thursday, God willing, inshallah. And I can tell you that your tolerance is different the older you get. And you have to train yourself to think differently as you become older because of all of the fear that's been instilled in you. And all of the fear, excuse me, and constant negativity that's coming your way as you grow older and older through life. You have to battle that stuff, and most people aren't ready to battle that. Most people don't even know that they're battling it. So it's different for older women to overcome this stuff. I see that all the time because they're trying to figure out, well, how can I, and what do I do about this? And are you sure this works? And are you sure that works? And I'm like, you got to step out on faith. And that's like such a far-fetched, foreign, alien concept to so many people. Like, step out on what? Do what? You want me to do what? People really are scared to step out on faith. And women juggling motherhood and job, for instance, and specifically single women who are not with a mate, whether it be the children's father or just a man that she ended up being with, later on after the fact. If a woman doesn't have a mate, a lot of times women can be a little bit more hesitant about leaping on faith, taking a leap on faith, and just believing in themselves because they understand that everything they do affects their children. And as mothers, the first thing we would do is make sure the children are okay. So I get that. I do understand because I even come to my own hurdles where I'm like, dang, I want to do this, I want to do that. This is going to be a good move. And for me, it's always money moves because I'm always on that type time. Because, my whole mission is, saving my babies and building my legacy, my great grandbabies. So, for me, do I make this money move or do I hold on to that money and just, make sure I keep securing the situation that we have currently? And that is a huge decision to make when you're on your own and that you don't have a fallback person. So it's understandable. However, it's the stepping out on faith part. So when I tell other women that, I'm not telling other ladies anything that I don't have to tell myself. We could be at different levels in our life, different stages in our life, doing different things, have different goals, planning different things, but it's still the same concept. It doesn't matter. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that things are going to be okay. And you have to step out on faith. You have to trust yourself. Of course, you have to trust your Lord. And you have to trust the process. Because growth, interestingly enough, I got this off of a music video. But growth is new. But I heard it, Seinfeld said this, but it made so much sense. He said, when you have any type of growth, you're never going to be prepared for it because growth is new. How can you be prepared for something that you've never experienced? The only thing you can hold on to is faith, focus, and vision, and that drive. That's what you got. But if you don't understand that those tools, you don't understand how serious those tools are, you're not going to know that you need them. You may not even know that you already have them. Everybody possesses that. You just got to dig deep in your little tool bag, your little tool bag to grab them. But if you don't understand that you have that and that you need that, then you're going to find yourself stagnant. And then that's when a lot of our ladies, unfortunately, end up in situations where it's like, oh, now I have to, be dependent upon the system. Now I have to put this brother who I had these babies with in the court for child support and things like that, which people who know me, I talk about that all the time. I'm strongly against that court system. Ain't no child support. Ain't no what's the other thing? The custody. None of that. I don't believe in that because there's no way a system who's for us should judge how our family circumstances should run between us. That doesn't make any sense. We don't go to our enemy to solve our personal challenges and problems. But it's a fact that a lot of our sisters end up in that system anyway, and a lot of the brothers end up in that system anyway. And although it's because of sometimes it's neglect, sometimes it's being irresponsible, not holding yourselves accountable and things like that. But either way, a lot of the ladies end up going through that system to try to get some type of resolution. And it's usually out of, okay, sometimes it's out of desperation. Sometimes it's out of bitterness. And we know I speak facts. I don't sugarcoat it. So sometimes it's out of bitterness, but a lot of times it is also desperation. They feel like they really need help. They have to keep, they have to take care of these children. How to do that and go forward in life. But again, ladies, that key factor, you gotta step out on faith. You gotta step out on faith. You gotta know that whatever it is that you want to do with yourself, life, to be honest with you, your children are gonna be your biggest cheerleaders. They're gonna be your fan club. Whenever anything is going on in my life, it's always my children who are like, "Go, mommy, go." I'll come home, they'll have new affirmations on the wall that they wrote for me. You know, if I come home, they know I'm, feeling some type of way about something that I didn't hit my goal at the certain date that I had set for that goal, for that achievement. They're all around me like, okay, well, you could do this, you could do that. And from the smallest one all the way to my 23-year-old, they'll all just huddle around me and support me in that way. And so we also have to trust our children with the information, what our dreams are, what our goals are, what our plans are. We have to trust our children with that information as well, so that they can know how to support us, because our children will support us. I feel like I was talking for a long time.
Good. I mean, we hear from you. I'm in the audience like everybody else. I'm here taking it in. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Uh, so many, times we aren't used to people listening to us. You know, we we used to this virtual stuff that we see. Like you might say something, you might post something. I remember you had the word for today is. You know what I mean? I remember like you had the word for today is, and then you get 600 comments about somebody that got something to say about something. Like those people who just pop up just to disagree with something. You see what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
so we got used to that kind of conversation where people don't take the time to actually listen to what's being conveyed. You know, I just asked your experiential wisdom across generations. And what am I supposed to do? Listen, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, so, this is real life experience for you. So we have grown accustomed to trying to be short because we want to get our point out real quick because somebody's coming with a rebuttal for everything that we just said. So the fine art of listening, open-ended questions, things like that. Like, you know, there's cars going around in the background, so I'll mute it so I'll make sure I hear everything that you're saying. You see what I'm saying before I respond to it, because these some serious Jews uh, that aren't, the village is no longer sought. You know,
Mhm.
the village is still there, but it's no longer sought after. You see what I'm saying? So now it has a
Mhm.
cut on it. So if you're not this or that or whatever, so who we are gets lost in what we do now. So what we do, meaning what organization we belong to, whatever, all of this overshadows who we are. Who we
Mhm.
are gets lost. So if we remember who we are first, where we came from, about in our families and that connection, and then we could be more apt to be beneficial to, those places and spaces in the community. In the Kufa, I say, and do not cut off relations with the wombs that bore you. You understand what I'm saying? So, those connections. And then we find ourselves in a position, you know, definitely leaning towards cutting ourselves off relations from the wounds that bore us into some whole other stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And like, so, you know, you being a staple, you're reintroducing an ancient concept to a people that this was a natural way of being. How long a hospital been around? You understand what I'm saying? How long have we been around versus how long a hospital's been around? And what was the
Mhm.
hospital designed to do? You hear hospice. You understand?
Mhm.
Like that's what it was. So why would you take a loved one that's perfectly fine into a place that was designed for their last days and be
Mhm.
surprised that something happens in a place and it does what it's designed to do? You understand what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
re-educating people, re-educating and reawakening consciousness in us in regards to midwife,
Mhm.
doula, you know, all of those things, these things that would naturally happen, that are now look like as an option. Your
Mhm.
natural course of action becomes the option, and then the alternative is the norm. You know, or I'm gonna just go
Mhm.
let them cut me open and take my
Mhm.
child out.
Mhm.
Because they get a bonus. Oh, I'm gonna
Right.
let them stick this needle in my spine.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't feel no pain. Like what?
Right. Mhm.
So these are things that have become readily available, just like uh, governmental assistance. These are all governmental assisted programs. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that they all cash in on, and we're left in lag. So I
Mhm.
just wanted to say that too. Some of those things. Now I had a question about overcoming adversity, overcoming failure or trauma or drama. You know what I'm saying? Like some some advice in that regard, to our sisters out here uh, that may be going through these trials and tribulations. How do you see your way
Okay. First, I'm just gonna keep making sure that you hear me clearly and that I'm not cutting in
out?
and out. Am I good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
'Cause my internet goes in and out. Sometimes you go in and out. Okay. So it's funny because someone had just reached out to me about that. Actually, a few people reached out to me about that particular thing because I did a interview about a month ago now, and someone just kind of did a little interview on me, my life story, so to speak, summed up in just this is about what a 5 minute clip or so. But excuse me, the biggest thing I would say, um, a lot of women are going through a lot of things in relationships and marriages. That's a big deal right now, and probably always. Uh, it's in the woman's nature to be settled down with one mate. It's an instinctual thing. Okay, so many women, even the women who say, "Oh, I don't want no man, I don't need no man," yes, they do. It's instinctual. It's instinctual to want a mate. It's the necessity. But people don't look at it that way, right? Because everybody's scared to feel like they're needy or they, just I don't know. There's this crazy concept that goes along with all of that these days. But so women find themselves in situations that they don't want to be in, and now they're trying to figure out how to get out. And I've had a lot of people ask me about that because I was in an almost 17-year marriage, and we had 9 children, and I divorced when I was actually pregnant with baby number 9. I divorced at like 4 months or 5 months pregnant or so, and for me, it was just simply a decision, and it might seem like vague advice for a lot of people when they ask me how do you do that? How do you move forward past that part in your life where you feel stuck? Well, you can't move forward until you understand that you're not stuck. That's the key word. Like you think you're stuck, but you are not stuck. You never were stuck because there's nobody making you stay with someone who you don't want to be with. You're never stuck. You always had the power to move. You always had the power to get out of that. You always had the power to keep going. Always. Nobody ever told you that you had to be there or you'll die. you know. So it's the mentality. It's changing the mindset. It's changing the mentality. It's understanding that you absolutely have free will to do what you need to do for yourself, to find yourself peace, to find yourself happiness, to find yourself joy. If you are walking around in life and majority of your days are filled with sadness or anger or grief or things like that, then you need to make some different decisions. You need to do something different. Because that means that you're waking up in the morning every single day over and over again, doing the same things over and over again, being around the same people, being in the same relationship or marriage, going to the same job or the same school or whatever, over and over again, expecting different results, and you're not going to get them. That's what we call the definition. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So the first thing you got to understand is that you're not stuck. You never were. The second thing you got to know is that you have free will. Make a decision. And going back to the other part that I said before, stepping out on faith, not being scared to make a decision. Everybody's scared of making a decision and it being the wrong decision. But how can anything be the wrong decision when you made a decision based on something that you thought was going to make you happy? It can't be the wrong decision. If you felt like, unless you smoking crack, I mean, that might be the wrong decision. uh, Otherwise, it can't be the wrong decision if you're talking about your inner happiness. If you're talking about keeping yourself feeling good, feeling positive, optimistic, filled with joy, that's never the wrong decision. You just got to know that. You got to be okay with it. You got to be secure in your decision. There are a lot of times that people come in and out of relationships, in and out, in and out, in and out, because they left the relationship, but they weren't ready. And honestly, even if the relationship is horrible, even if it's abusive, mentally, physically, emotionally, even if there's, infidelity and all kinds of secrets or lies, deception going on, no matter how horrible the relationship is, you got to leave when you're actually ready. And some people don't leave when they're ready. That's why they end up leaving, and then they go back, and they end up still in the same situation until they finally get tired. So you have to make a decision on whether or not you are tired of saying yes or you're not tired. That's just is a decision. Everything life is about making decisions, but we don't want to hold ourselves accountable for the decisions that we make. Therefore, we like to play it safe by not making decisions. And that's what keeps everybody stuck, is the idea that you believe that you need to make a decision or that you should be scared to make decisions. That's what makes you stuck. That's what keeps us stagnant. And it's crazy because that whole thing, that whole concept, we could just be talking about women in messy relationships. We could be talking about people at their job. We could be talking about anything. It applies, it's like a universal concept. You only stuck because you believe you stuck. So this thing about you can't move forward, I'm never trying to hear that. People think, oh no, Aisha, that's just you. That's because you think that everybody's gonna be like that because you like that. Listen, that's what I think. I don't think that everybody's gonna be like that because I'm like that. But I know that everybody can be like that because I'm like that. Because if I can do it, I can do it. I'm not that much more special than anybody else. I just understood something. And I'm telling the women, I'm telling my ladies, I'm telling the queens out there, my sisters, y'all understand exactly what I understood. Start investing time into loving yourself and knowing who you are more than you love someone else and know who someone else is. Some of our ladies out here, excuse me, some of these sisters out here, they know more about their mate than they know about their own selves. They know what he want to eat in the morning, what he like to wear on the weekends, but they don't even know what hobbies they like. They don't even know what they like to do in their time alone. They don't even spend time alone. Most people don't know enough about themselves because they don't spend enough time by themselves in a quiet room. People only turn the TV off for 5 minutes. They spend alone time. They think alone time is with the TV on, with the radio on. No, spend some time alone. Real process your thoughts. Do you even know what you can think about when you turn all of the rest of the world off? So it's like the word that everybody loves right now is healing. Healing, the opposition is toxic. These are the two words that everybody's throwing around. like crazy. It's trending. Are you either top toxic or you healing? But we wanted to talk about healing. Really, know yourself, learn yourself, and love yourself. And yeah, that's a part of the healing journey, but that's a part of your life. That's your life. You're supposed to know who you are. And because we're always evolving, that means you never stop learning who you are. And you can't be in successful relationships or marriages or even jobs or businesses or schools and you don't understand who you are because you won't have success in any of those other avenues because you're not going to be able to completely understand any of those other things, your job, your business, your school, your mate, your spouse. You're not going to understand other people because you don't understand yourself. When somebody tells you something, you're not going to understand that you're one of those people that you pop fly really quick because you don't see yourself like that because you really haven't chin checked yourself because you don't understand why people don't want to mess with you because you've never self-reflected. You've never sat down to think about who you are, what things are good about yourself, and what things you might need to change. Instead, most of the folks walk around saying things like, "Well, that's just the way I am. You either take me or you leave me." No, that's arrogance. That's pride. Where's your humility? You know, why so many people are alone or in and out of these relationships so much or in and out of these marriages so much because they feel like take me as I am. To an extent, yeah. Nobody's saying you gotta, someone should change you. You are supposed to want to change yourself. That's the point. Change yourself. Change yourself. Why don't you want to evolve? Why don't you want to move forward? Why don't you want to be better? Everybody's trying to compete with everybody else, but really the only person you should be in competition with ever is yourself. From 2 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, or 2 days ago, or 2 years ago, you're supposed to be in competition with yourself. Be a better self tomorrow than what you were yesterday. That should be your goal. And having these children, our children are going to be fine. We see kids, first of all, moms are over worried about these children. And I know that sometimes when moms have just one or two children or three or four, their worryometer, if you will, is a little higher. You get to about 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 children, not so much. Know that if the child is crying in the hallway, they all right. Nobody's bleeding out the head, they all right. And I got a rule in my house: if you ain't bleeding out the head, you all right. You know what I mean? That's real. You got to be bleeding out the head to get some special attention in here, just because you're crying. Because kids cry. But moms have to do more understanding that their children are okay. And once you do start getting to know yourself and understand who you are, you can start understanding these that came from your womb, ladies, because these children are a replica of you. The father too, but you got to understand that there are a lot of ways in your children. And when I really started to know who I was, when I really started to understand the woman that I was growing into in my 20s and of course now in my 30s, I see myself in every last one of my children. And because of that, I can relate to them on each individual level, which means I don't have to be in here giving out butt whoopings every day. I don't have to worry about what this one is going to say back. Well, first of all, my kids don't talk back. I'm old school. We don't play that. But, I don't have to worry about what this one is going to think or that one, how they're going to react. I already know because I know which one is my rebellious side. I know which one is the rage. I know which one is the business-minded one. I know which one is the very studious one. Which one is the hippie, la, head in the clouds, don't ever get nothing finished one. Okay? Because I can identify all of that in myself. And it all comes with honesty. We talk about honesty so much. Everybody wants, listen, for my ladies out there, all of the women want a man to come into their life who's honest and trustworthy. But you are not honest yourself about yourself. You cannot attract someone who's going to be honest with you when you are not honest with you. And I can speak on that 100% from my own experience. Once I learned how to be honest with myself, like no, own my stuff, own my crap, Own your stuff. For real. And once you do that, then now you can see some things. Now you can understand some stuff about yourself. You know, if you can sit down and say, yeah, I do know my flaws. I know the stuff that's wrong with me. Now you can be honest with somebody else. And some of that does come from when you have these children and you can start to see different things in those children. I've met, I keep fixing this earpiece because I don't know what's happening with it. I've met ladies where uh, they have a little girl and she's a little moody, cranky. And this is not about anybody specific because this has happened several times in life. And the mom said something like, I don't know where she get that from. I'm like, you really think that you're not like that ever? Or they got this talkative and mouth almighty. I don't know where she get that from. I got something to say. Really, lady? You don't know that you're like that? You know? So it's a reality check. We really have to learn ourselves. We really have to spend time learning ourselves. One of my habits for the last 2 years now, to maybe 3 years, I slow up sometimes in business, really busy. But one of my habits was to start. I had started taking and just getting a hotel room for 1, maybe 2 days if I felt a little rich, and just away from everybody, away from the children, away from business, away from everything else in my life. This wasn't about, hooking up with anybody. This wasn't about spending a bunch of money and balling out. Listen, I got a cheap room. Went on Priceline, no advertising here, no soliciting, of course, but went on one of the little cheap websites and put me a deal. I might spend 50 or 60 on a hotel room. Very cheap, right? It's affordable because there's so many this is not affordable. They feel like this me time is not attainable. And I'm telling you that it is. I'm telling you that I was just 4 years ago now, in a 1 bedroom apartment. And now I own a house. So I'm saying that it's all attainable. People always talk about they can't afford this, they can't afford that. How am I going to take this time? How are you not going to take this time? How are you going to continue to live your life and not give yourself your personal time? So give yourself it. It may not be the hotel stay. It may be something else. Maybe you go for a drive. Maybe you go to the beach. Maybe you go to the river or the lake, or maybe get on a plane for a day and go get a flight round trip. I don't know what it is. People always have sales on that kind of thing. Get on the bus and take the bus everybody takes, the whatever that the pig on it.
You talking about the mega bus?
The mega bus. Yes, the mega bus. Take the mega bus somewhere. You know what I mean? Go somewhere for a day and then come right back if you feel like you can't afford to stay overnight. But I'm saying it's cheap. I used to do that once a month for myself. And honestly, when I would go to the hotel, it wasn't even a big deal. It wasn't about me watching movies and other. Most times I would not even turn on the television. I would get a tuna hoagie from Wawa. I had my meal replacement shake, and I would get me some water and some orange juice. The orange juice so I could make my meal replacement shake in the morning for breakfast, and the water all night. It was not special. It was not me going out to dinner, just dropping cash everywhere. I wasn't interested in that. I just needed alone time so I could think, so I could process, and so I can get to understand myself. I can love myself, so that I can give everything to myself that I would expect for a man to give to me. We expect these men to come in our lives and give us things that we've never even given to ourselves. Another thing that I would do, I would say maybe at least once a month, was do my me dates. And I would just go to a restaurant. I like to go, what was it, like after 10? Because then like the appetizers are always half off. So it can be cheap. You don't have to spend a lot of money. People always feel like I got to spend a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money to spend, so I stayed within my budget. But I made sure that my budget allowed for me to do that. And I was never balling out, oh, she's making millions. It wasn't like that. I understood that I needed something for myself, and I understood that I deserved to treat myself this way. And I understood that I can't ask somebody to do something for me that I can't do for myself. And so that was me from the trend that it was like, okay, when I meet the love of my life, I knew when he comes in, he's going to understand that this is a certain caliber of woman that I have here. And I can't treat her any old way. She don't treat herself any old kind of way. So the trending of how you're treated from your mates, ladies, that starts with how you treat yourself. You expect someone to come in and do things for you that you never even thought of doing for yourself. And sometimes that can happen, but it's rare. You know, many of our men, many of us are not even in a predicament to give you the moon and the sun. You know, many of you are so stuck on those Disney fairy tales when y'all were younger and those Cinderella books when y'all were younger, but you gotta go out of that and wake up and become more mature and realize that was not real. That was absolutely fairy tale. That was absolutely lies being told to you, lies being fed into your head. So once we get out of that mindset and we understand that was not real and those were fairy tales, then we can understand, okay, I treat myself good, I love myself, then I'll attract someone who's going to treat me good. I'll attract someone who's going to love me. And then in return, I can give them love. In return, I can show them affection. In return, I can do things for them, you know? So it can go full circle, but we need for our women to love themselves first and focus on themselves first, know themselves first, so that you can take care of them babies properly, so that you attract and keep the men in your life who are absolutely deserving of your grace.
I love it. See me cheesing over here.
I feel like I'm talking so much, right? Okay.
It's, and so many layers in
Mm-hmm.
the conversation. These relatable experiences, and we don't look at all of the relationships in that same kind of way. You know, you spoke about many aspects in life. That we are in relationship
Mm-hmm.
to our relationship to our families, our relationship, you know, to our job and things like that. And that you know I've been here for so long, or you know, I don't want to start over, or you know, what I look like out here dating again, and blah blah blah. You understand what I'm saying? Like all of these things that go along with it. Oh, I should have been here by this particular time, or all of these things that we are in pursuit of, but we declare them. So you know, uh, that's what I love about Islam. You know, you make a declaration. Next thing you got to do is get to work. You understand what I'm saying? You make a declaration. You know how they might clap and like, yeah, uh, welcome, but you have to get to work now. You know, uh, you know, the scholars say the shahada is a statement in the tongue, a belief in the heart, followed up by the action. So how do you affirm what you say? You know, you have to learn how to pray. That's the thing. You understand? You got to learn how to fast. All these kinds of things that go along with this process based off of something that you said. So this is how you make it manifest. This is how you bring things into fruition. So for what you say you want, what are you prepared to do about it? You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, this job doesn't appreciate. You come to that realization. Do you quit or do you plan your exit strategy for your next position? Wherever it is. You see what I'm saying? So these are all, situations that are there that if we looked at them properly and formed, we would see them uh, in that relationship kind of guys. So there's always some things that are there, the give and take situation. So it's just very interesting that you brought it up and you spread it throughout your life. So it wasn't just one dimension, it was very holistic. So since we were talking about relationships, talk about some advice for your mental health, physical health, and your spiritual
Okay, can you repeat that one more time? Because I don't know if it was. My internet going in and out or the sound, but I heard you saying mental, spiritual health, physical health, but I didn't hear what you said before it.
So some advice in regards to mental health, physical health, and spiritual
You said some knowledge on that.
health. Yes.
Okay. Well, really, I would say everything I just said kind of goes right into that. Your mental, spiritual, and physical, because that part of knowing yourself, that is a part of your emotional, and spiritual health. You know, one thing I will always tell people is that every single day, do something for your Lord or your religion or spirituality. Do something for yourself, you know, and this could be something as small as doing something special to your hair or, you know, for the ladies buying, you know, new underwear. It could be anything like that, right? To doing something then for your family, making sure that something is done for your family, and then something for your love, you know. Um, and I always give the advice on those things because all of those things tie into your mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional health. All of those things. You know, when we talk about our money isn't right, most people are messed up. Most people go into a depression or they're sad or they're angry, things like that, because money isn't right. Money makes the emotional health mess up, or the lack thereof. Also, sometimes it messes people spiritual. You know, maybe they were a praying mantis before, and then all of a sudden money ain't right, and they forget that prayer still works, so they don't tap in the way they were before. You know, sometimes money ain't right, so then they maybe used to go to the gym. Now they don't have a membership, so they can't get there. Maybe they had a personal trainer. Excuse me. Maybe they were going to different workout classes, and then they paid for that. So money messed that up. And I talk about money a lot because people won't talk about it. That's why I talk about it. And because I understand it affects the mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical health. It does. Look at all the people who don't have money and what happens to them when they don't have money. And what I find is that most people don't feel is very necessary to be completely financially stable. People are really okay with just getting spurts of money here and there instead of consistent revenue or building type of empire that gives them residual income so that you can just chill and sit home and not work. So that you can just be like, okay, well, I'm taking a vacation and I don't ask permission, excuse me, because I already know I can do that. I got the money in the bank. I got that saved up. You know what I mean? We don't have to worry about the bills for at least a year to cover whether I go to work or not. There's not many of us that are in that type of position, and because of that, it affects really our spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional health. And so I highly recommend that people start becoming more financially stable, that people start organizing their funds. A lot of people ask me how I came out of that one apartment and in 3 years owned my own home. It's because I was diligent about organizing my finances. I didn't play games. I watched friends travel overseas. I watch people take all kinds of trips, all different places, and do all kinds of fun, exciting things. But instead of doing that, I disciplined my money. I disciplined my finances. I disciplined what I was going to spend my money on. It's not to say I didn't have fun. I didn't spend my money on myself. But I didn't just ball out because I had it. I had goals, and I needed to stay focused so I could show goals. I truly believe that you got to make a commitment to yourself. It goes back into the other part about that relationship. You out here wanting a commitment from a man, but you don't make commitments to yourself. You have to make commitments to yourself. You want to reach certain goals. You want to feel good inside. You want to be able to go to the extra classes at the gym or the aerobics classes, rent the bicycles. Maybe you want to, I don't know, hang out. I don't know, whatever, right? All that stuff costs money. Get your money together. I don't know what's going on with people not being financially organized, But stop wasting money. Stop blowing money on nonsense. You save 10% of your wealth and let that 10% go to either some future business or investment, stocks, or something. Everybody out here should have some money in stocks. I don't care if it's only like little stock apps. I do that and I have regular stocks. It doesn't matter what it is. Everybody out here should have some money in some stocks. Y'all better get on it because right now, listen, the stock's been doing well. I've been making money. So this is the time to invest in some of these good stocks out here too. But everybody should have some money invested in stocks. Everybody should have some money set to the side. Just take up nothing. You can't be a grown person, can't be a grown woman out here talking about you don't have a couple extra dollars aside. What are you doing? It's possible that every single one of your pennies get spent on a necessity every time you go to work. If that's the case, you better step out and do something different. That's the only option you got. If you go on somebody's job and you're being enslaved that way, that's slavery, by the way. That's slavery by another name, like the book says. If you go on to somebody's job, helping them build their empire, but you literally spend every single last one of your pennies on making ends meet and you have nothing left for yourself, you are truly a slave. We already know that most of us are already enslaved anyhow. But that's you physically a slave, you're emotionally a slave, you're really going through it. And in that case, you must step out on faith immediately. But if you are the average person, and the average person is going to work, they're going to their 9 to 5, they have a few dollars to spend. We have some art sisters out here, of all kinds of walks of life, etc. But they take that couple extra dollars, get a bag, get some shoes. Spend too daggone much money on hair that don't even belong to them. Spend too much money implanting eyelashes in their eyes when you were born with eyelashes. Spending too much money out here buying drinks that kill your kidneys and toxify your liver and mess up your letter and your pH. This is why the ladies come to me as a midwife and you want to know how to balance out your pH or why not getting pregnant. It's because of the stuff that you're putting in your body. You're not honoring your temple. So you're spending extra money doing things that's not even beneficial to you. It might make you happy for a minute. It might be fun, but it's not beneficial to you. Make a decision to, instead of spending that money on stuff that's not really that important, take the extra money and focus on your goals. This is I know on Facebook, and I know a few actually. I know a few on Facebook. Excuse me, because I don't want to exclude anybody. I know a few, but there's one in particular I'm thinking of, and we Facebook friends maybe like 2-3 years or so. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody more consistent with being in her business. She has a business. She sells a product. Every single week she's on there about her product, about her business. She's dedicated. She's committed. She committed to herself, committed to her business. She committed to her lifestyle. She committed to her goals and her dreams and her passion to what she wanted, and she went for it. And she keeps going. And I love watching her because she just blossomed a flower. And I love seeing my sisters go like that. I'm like, yo, do the thing, sis. Do the thing, So, that's somebody who I committed to herself. And because she committed to herself, she then found herself in a beautiful commitment, in a beautiful union, And when she posted the pictures of her and the new husband, you could see the glow on her little face, And it was beautiful, beautiful. Because she made a commitment to herself first. So you ladies out there, you got to make a commitment to yourself first before you can expect someone to make a commitment to you. Make a commitment to invest in dreams, invest in your goals. This is going to take some of that emotional weight off of you. This is going to help you feel physically better. Listen, I promise you will lose weight when you're happy. I lost 50 pounds when I became a happy woman. 50 pounds. That means I was holding on to me 50 pounds of extra craziness, depression, whatever. But all I had to do was figure out that I wanted to be happy and then be it. And I started dropping weight. And I wasn't doing some strenuous, everybody, that's not even how I did it. I just, I was doing milk replacement shakes, and that was it. And I was still breastfeeding at the time. So breastfeeding moms eat. But I was happy. I was loving the woman that I was becoming. I began to love myself and how I felt spiritually and emotionally. I was praying, it made me feel like I was on top of the world. It made me feel physically glowing, physically beautiful. In my heart, it made me feel beautiful. I felt warm. I felt so much self-love. And I was just filled up with that. And once I got to that point, I was just like, yeah, I'm really committed to me. That's why I could do those hotel stays, everything. It was no questions asked. I had made a commitment to me. That's why I could do my me dates and go on dinners and just, spend $20, $30. I made a commitment to me. That's why I could do things for myself or spend money to the side that were going towards my goals, which included things like buying a house because I was committed to me. I was committed to my dreams. I was loyal to Aishia first. You lay out there, you have to know that. You have to be loyal and committed to yourself. That is so important. So mental health issues come from us not being like something. It comes from us not being grateful. And I always say, in order to be grateful, you have to be happy. In order to be happy, you have to be grateful. You need both. You need both. You have to have both. So find your happiness. Be grateful for everything you have, everything that you've been through, all the BS you've been through, relationship trauma, and some of this stuff, ladies, some of this stuff is your fault too. You got to hold yourself accountable for the part that you played, for the things that you allowed, the things that you accepted. Some of this stuff is your part too. So you have to hold yourself accountable. Relationship BS, the drama at work, what happened with the neighbor, family, friends, your sister, your kids, all of that stuff, all of those things, you can overcome all of it and you can be fine if you're grateful for it. Because all of those things that happened to you in your life gave you a lesson. There was something that you had to learn from each one of those lessons. And if you learned that, or even if you don't know completely what you were supposed to learn, just be grateful for it. And at some point, the lesson is going to be revealed. You won't have to repeat it. You won't find yourself in that same situation all over again. That's for sure. And you'll find yourself better. You'll be more outside of your head. You won't be over analyzing and overthinking things. You won't be, trying to second guess yourself. You'll be more confident. You'll walk with a different type of confidence, different type of pride, different type of uh, crown, if you will. Everybody uses that term. You know, a different type of regal. You will step out with that, and in that, your heart will become more pure. It'll be less hard. It'll be more. It'll be softened. You'll be able to give more without expecting to receive. And I'm not talking about, ignore the law of reciprocity, because I believe in that. But you'll be able to give without thinking that you have to have your hand out every time you give. You'll be able to get up and do those sit ups and those crunches, and nothing's without you make a commitment to yourself to get it done. You'll make sure that you pray, meditate, vicar. You'll make sure you want your A game with your spirituality. You make sure that you're focused on your money and your goals. And you won't allow distractions to hinder you. And distractions are always going to come, and you gotta understand that. And if you know that and understand that, and you're committed to yourself, it don't matter. Distractions won't matter. So those are some of my advice or wisdom for that particular topic.
I'm clapping over here, but I'm clapping to myself. I don't want to be too loud when I'm clapping. Forget it. I'm just, boom. I'm gonna clap out loud. Okay. celebrating, celebrating all of these jewels that you gave us during the course of the series. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Should rock it out for all of these jewels and blessings that you receive, these verified from what you represent here today. So, final thoughts. Tell us about your services. Tell us where we can book you for your services, consultations, workshops, all that. If you know you still got all that going on and everything. You understand what I'm saying? Let us know. Some final words of wisdom and also your services and where people can find you virtually.
Okay. So my phone is run out so bad. I don't know. I had horrible internet issues. So I do apologize for that. Can you hear me right now? Okay. So I believe you were saying like my final words or how do people can reach me,
Yes,
things
your
like that.
final thoughts and also where people can, book you for your services as well. Oh, and also if you have anything coming up, I know you'll do something in a heartbeat. Like, hey, I got a workshop.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you just move like that. It's so great. So, just let us know.
um, final final thought for my ladies, my sisters, my queens. Just don't stop. Don't stop evolving. Keep moving. Don't stop. Keep moving forward. It's really that simple. Step out on faith. Step out on knowing. Keep moving forward. I do actually have a workshop going on right now. It's constant because it's on my website, and it's the Sensual Pussy Workshop. And I'm not sure if I can say that on here, but that's the title of the workshop. And this workshop is a 3 hour workshop. You can rent it from my website, and you can actually I'm gonna let you guys just go on, okay? Because you can see the preview of there, you can see of it, and you can see exactly what it talks about and things like that. And my website is www dot Aishia the Midwife, AISHIATHEMIDWIFE is actually up there on the screen. So it's www.aishathemidwife.com, or you can connect with me on the biz line. It's 215-939-0867. I'm on Facebook as Aishia Muhammad. I have a Facebook page, Aishia the Midwife. So you can find me all over the place. My picture is the same picture everywhere else. I am who I say I am. And I'll just say that, if you're interested in services and care, I do provide midwifery services, birth services, home birth services to our women and our families, um, full service care. So all throughout the pregnancy, as well as, of course, labor, birth, and postpartum. And I have connection and network with so many other doulas and childbirth educators and lactation consultants. We service the women here in Philly, different places in Pennsylvania. Oh shoot, we're going to New Orleans for a birth in November. No, New York, Delaware, New Jersey. So we service kind of anywhere. I will travel anywhere to catch a baby. We just work that out. So I will go anywhere for who really wants and needs and requests my services. So you can always get in touch with me with any of uh, those avenues that I listed.
Again, thank you again. Hopefully we get you to come back, a couple of more times over here. Show some love. You understand? I know you be busy, so I just wait my turn, set an appointment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be back, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Nobody can
Wa alaikum salam.
The series is powerful, and it just continues on tomorrow. So catch us here tomorrow. Got a couple of more shows and some shows out of the week to close out September, and in October we'll be here with brothers. So get a hold of me, book your slot. Shout out to everybody who came through and everybody who tuned in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're honoring the goddesses over here. That. I say peace, love, black power, and we'll see y'all on after midnight. 8 on that.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. Night in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? No more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a. Let's get
And
back
that
to
motive
the
is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.